seed sowing is well underway in my house, and no doubt in your house garden allotment as well. What I want to show you is just something that I've been trying to collect as many as I can of to use for when I'm starting off all my seeds. So see what you think of this. Right, a very topical thing, and it has been for at least more than a year now, and it remains to be topical, is the use of single-use plastics and how wasteful they are and how much damage they can cause as well. So I've been collecting them, those that I think might be able to be used for gardening. So we've got an instant noodles pot here. I've washed it out. It's polystyrene, and that'll be absolutely fantastic for putting seeds in. Another kind of thing that I'm doing is these little fruit or vegetable pots that have the cellophane lid. I'm trying to not rip the lid up, keep it. Once we've, this one had watermelon segments in, I think, but once we've used it, I wash it out. That is now, with the lid on, composting there and seeds. It's a little mini propagator. It's a little mini greenhouse, because that keeps the moisture in. If I show you here, there's a good example of what I mean. So there, can you see the moisture? Yeah, I've got is it chilies or tomatoes? Oh, sweet peppers, and they're either chilies or tomatoes in that one. But it just helps keep the moisture in, and they're perfect for starting seeds off in. They really are. I've got some more vegetable trays here. I think this was some kind of takeaway meal. A funny shape. It might have even been a roast chicken plastic tray, I think. But don't bin them. Don't bin them, because you can use them. And, while you're using them, it means that they're not going to landfill. They're not getting blown off a landfill site in the wind, where they find their way into rivers, and then rivers empty into the sea, all the rest of it. So this, I think it's called a fish box. I've had a few of these for years now, and I just keep reusing them every year. If you go to a market near where you live, if you've got like a fishmonger stall, just ask them for some of these. Now, to be honest, when you bring them home, at first they're going to smell a little bit fishy, but just give them a bit of a wash. And these are perfect for starting leeks off in, which is what I'm doing here. But you can start whatever you want off in them, to be honest with you. Keep your pots as well. I've got pots. I've got a big stack of pots out in a untidy corner of my backyard, where I've had some of them for years. I just keep reusing them. I give them a clean once a year in the winter, and then I can reuse them the next year, and I keep using them until they break. I don't just throw them away. Another good thing, now I have actually done a video on this, and I know many others have too, is cardboard toilet paper tubes. They're brilliant for starting things like peas, sweet peas, that kind of thing. You can start whatever you want off in them, but these are really good, because when these plants get bigger, I'll plant them out in the pots, and it cuts down on the root disturbance, which some plants don't like when you transplant them. And going back to reusing as many single-use plastics as you can, or any plastics for that matter, plastic pop bottles make fantastic cloches. Yeah, if you cut the bottom end off and stick it on top of a plant, again, you're creating a mini greenhouse, and it just gives young seedlings, when you get to plant them out, it gives them a bit of a helping hand, a bit of a head start. Creates a microclimate for them inside the bottle. So yeah, just I won't show you, but we've got a box full of empty plastic bottles in our garage specifically for this purpose. Cloches. They make brilliant cloches. Just if I'm giving you anything to think about there, let me know. If it's all old hat, thanks for sticking with it. In this noodle pot, and I've got to be honest, the noodles weren't that nice actually. I think I put a bit too much water in them. There wasn't a lot of flavour in them. But anyhow, I digress. In that noodle pot, I'm just going to throw some compost in. and we're going to plant something. As what, I haven't actually decided yet. We'll see where this takes us. See where the mood takes me. Right, so I'll get some compost in. Right, now, you can put a couple of drainage holes in the bottom if you want, or you can just be careful how much you water them so that you don't overwater it where it's going to become too soggy. So I'm just going to add a little bit of perlite. I'm going to mix that much into the compost, and that'll just help the drainage. It kind of like opens up the compost a little bit, and it'll stop your seeds sitting in waterlogged soil. And then last thing I'll do with the perlite is, once I've got some seeds on or in there, depending how deep they have to be buried, I then sprinkle a little bit more perlite over the top of it, just to keep the seeds in place for when I do water it. Right, for once I've organised my life somewhat, well, my gardening life. So in this big plastic storage box, using an old cardboard cereal packet, I've made some labels, and that way I could go through my seeds and divide them up. So all these here have not been used yet or sorted out. I'm still looking through these. I'll come back to those very shortly. So after this one, we've got flowers. There's all my different flower seeds. I've got loads there. And then after that, I've called it allotment, but it basically means edibles. It doesn't just have to be at the allotment. If you regular watch my videos, you'll know that I do mixing food in my backyard. So we've got all kinds of things. Purple cauliflower, tomatoes, just, you know, all the stuff you'd expect to see in a seed collection of someone who grows food as well as flowers. So let's go back to this one then. So after there is flowers, so that's flowers, we're not going to look in there. I'm just going to, what can we sow? Marigolds. I've already sown some lupins. What are those? Chives. I tell you what, I'm going to sow some chives, and I'll get some brownie points with our Claire, because they're one of her favourite things, are chives. She loves when the flowers are on them, and it's a massive purple pom-pom flowers. And also, we get through quite a lot of chives in the kitchen. You might know we keep chickens. I've done a few videos about them. And with the eggs that we get from the chickens, we make a lot of things like omelettes or frittatas, and chives and eggs just go together superbly well. So yeah, I'm going to plant some chives for her. So I've got the seeds. It says to sow them thinly and shallow as well. So I've just got a pinch of seeds in my thumb and finger. I'll move it around as I'm scattering them, sprinkling them. You probably won't be able to see those. They're very small. Do you know what? Just for luck, I'm just going to add a couple more. Last few. And it says sow them shallow. So this is where my perlite comes in. If I get just a handful and scatter that around. A little bit more, I think. And this will just cover the seeds. Like I say, it will keep them in place when you water them. It stops the seeds getting battered around by the water. So, a little bit of water. And then, all important label, because you've really got to remember to label at this time of year. We've got that many different things on the go, it's so easy to forget what you've planted in what. So, chives. You can put a date, some people date them as well, doesn't really matter. Some people also put a variety, if there is a particular variety that these are. I just put chives, that's good enough for me. Right, brownie points with our Claire, earned. She loves her chives. And to be honest, I quite like them as well, because I can see what she means about the purple flowers, the little pom-pom heads. They are lovely, you know. We try and scatter them around the allotment. We've also got a couple of pots of them out in the yard as well. Here's a nice surprise of a tulip in my backyard. It's a surprise for me because they don't normally show themselves in my yard till about May time. So if you're new to the channel, it'd be amazing if you could click on that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.